Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeremy Sutta, and I'm delighted to have everyone here at Pave the Way to Global Accessibility Awareness Day 2021. Or to save time, we can just say PWGAAD. One of the purposes of this event is to showcase some of the assistive technology that is being utilized here at North Idaho College. On one hand, we are looking for solutions to help us ensure that we have accessible tools and resources needed for everyone to have an engaging higher education experience. Yet, it's important to note that our approach is always to focus on solutions that follow universal design so that everyone can partake in this elevated experience. Take the concept of a plain old regular door at the grocery store as an example. If the store were to add a door assist device, then the door becomes accessible. Yet if the store planned ahead by installing an automatic sliding door from the start, then they would be providing a universally designed solution. We'll have more on UD later on. Another purpose for PWGAAD is to promote the actual Global Accessibility Awareness Day, or GAAD, which is the third Thursday of May every single year. And the goal behind GAAD is to get everyone talking, thinking, and learning about digital access and inclusion toward the more than 1 billion people with disabilities and impairments worldwide. And it was nothing short of God's blessing to be able to host our first PWGAAD event in 2019 with both GAAD co-founders, Joe Devon and Jennison Asuncion. 2021 will be GAAD's 10th year, and we hope to motivate more people to celebrate and be involved in a meaningful way on May 20th. Over the next hour or so, we'll be exhibiting a lot of assistive technology, tips, and mini trainings to give as much of a breadth of digital accessibility knowledge as possible. In addition to having this virtual exhibit, we also wanted to feature an accessible virtual event passport to help viewers stay engaged and to motivate and reward them with some very amazing prizes. This year, the passport is in the form of a survey at www.nic.edu/PWGAAD/passport. Here's how it works. Each exhibit will pertain to one question on the passport survey. For example, the first question on the survey asks, GAAD has how many co-founders? Not too difficult to obtain the answers to the virtual passport, but you definitely need to be present and paying attention. And anyone submitting a virtual passport by 11:45 a.m. today, with the accuracy of 90%, will be eligible for winning one of the prizes that were graciously donated to us by the following PWGAAD supporting partners: Idaho State University's Disability Support Department, Glimpse LLC, Evol Octopus Tactical, Alpha Jiu-Jitsu and Fitness, the Justin Family, and North Idaho Jiu-Jitsu. The prizes this year include 3 Aftershokz Open Move headphones, a Sony immersive wearable speaker, an Apple Watch, 1 set of Apple AirPods, 2 Amazon Echo Dots, 5 $100 membership gift cards to Alpha Jiu-Jitsu and Fitness, a Starbucks gift card, and an Xbox One adaptive controller. I wanted to take a quick moment and thank all the people that have been involved in making this day possible. For starters, the content creators and vendors who helped to get us the content ready for today, the aforementioned supporting partners, the Cardinal Copy Center for helping us send out our awesome swag boxes over the past couple weeks, Melissa Jessen for helping us get all the needed materials, Ken Wardinsky and Steve Smith for giving me the autonomy to always try new things and removing roadblocks, and lastly but not least, the PWGAAD committee for helping guide this event forward. There's been a lot of work put into this virtual event, and we hope it will motivate everyone to be more involved and do more with digital accessibility and inclusion, even if only for one day like GAAD. The people I'm blessed to work with are very familiar with the phrase I embrace from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu: make everything 1% better. And the idea is that when you are in a bad position, it's nearly impossible to respond with any action that will make the situation 100% better. However, what if we make the situation 1% better? Do you think you'll see how to make it 2% better? And if we make the situation 2% better, is it reasonable to assume that we can probably see how to make it 5% better, and so on? So without further delay, welcome to PWGAAD 2021.
The CIL. In 1997, a team of architects, designers, and researchers at North Carolina State University created a list of principles that would be used to define universal design. Today, we're visiting Berkeley, California's universally designed Ed Roberts campus to explain what the researchers called the 7 principles of universal design. This is Power On. Principle 1, equitable use. A building that is universally designed is a building that's designed for people with all kinds of abilities. That's a general idea of a universally designed building. Now, for a lot of people that live in cities, the only way to get around is via public transportation. So we're going to jump on BART, which is the public transportation system around the San Francisco Bay Area, and see where it takes us. So we've made it to the Ashby station, and connected to the station is the building that houses the Ed Roberts campus. All we do is go in this elevator, we go up 1 story, and it opens right into the lobby. This is Ed Roberts campus, an 85,000 square foot building that houses disability-focused organizations. Named after disability rights pioneer and former executive director at the CIL, Ed Roberts campus has won numerous awards for its accessible design. Designers often tack on a ramp as an afterthought, but the team at LMS Architecture started with accessibility and turned the ramp into the building's centerpiece. On the wall behind the ramp, a gallery of photos show Berkeley's deep history in the disability rights movement. The second principle of universal design is flexibility in use, meaning that a building can be configured in various ways to accommodate a person's needs. In some of the offices, you might find adjustable desks, which can be used at any height depending on each person's preference. Principle 3, simple and intuitive use. This means that the design is easy to understand for everybody. So as soon as you walk in the door, it makes sense where to go, whether to the front desk or elsewhere, via practical, easy to understand signage. If you've ever used an IKEA instruction manual, it's a bit of an exercise in universal design. Very easy to follow, yet not a single written word. And speaking of signage, the 4th principle is perceptible information. This means that the design can communicate all of its necessary information to everybody. An example of that are the signs here at the Ed Roberts campus. All the signs throughout the campus are both in written word as well as Braille. The fountain at the end of the building isn't just for decoration. It also provides a reference point for people with low vision when getting around the building. Principle 5 is tolerance for error. This principle refers to safety, stressing the importance that the design minimizes hazards, accidents, or unintended actions. In the event of an emergency, the ramp provides a safe exit if the elevators aren't in use. Principle 6, low physical effort. This says that the design can be used efficiently and comfortably and with minimum fatigue. A building that is universally designed shouldn't be exhausting to get around or to use. In architecture, that comes in the form of automatic doors, elevators, and mostly flat surfaces. Principle 7, size and space for approach and use. This principle says that the building shouldn't restrict anyone by its size or space. So that of course means wide doorways and adequate space for wheelchairs to navigate, but it's also important that nothing is out of reach for people who need access to something. When we came up the elevators, there were buttons where you would normally find them, but also buttons along the floor if that's more accessible. And you can find this feature all throughout the building. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next Power On.
Follow us. www.youtube.com/c/thecilofficial.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Setta here with a very useful and inexpensive tip on how to braille and create tactile graphics on just about any surface. So today I'm repurposing something called Bondic. It's a UV plastic that works much like you would use glue. Here I have an audio extension cable with a damaged exterior, exposing the 3 different colored wires inside. So I'm going to apply some Bondic to cover the damaged area and then some. Now here's the cool part. Using the included UV light, the plastic hardens within seconds. Now, if you're like me, you're probably too impatient to wait the 10 seconds for the single UV LED that's included with Bondic to actually cure that UV plastic. Or maybe you just want to be very thorough in the curing process. In that case, I would recommend getting one of these 100 bulb UV LED flashlights. Now I'll share 5 examples of where I might use Bondic to braille or create simple tactile graphics. Number 1, brailing an object that has a flat surface. I'll start by cleaning the surface. Next, I will use a fine-tip Sharpie with a braille slate as a guide for where to place the dots of Bondic plastic. Finishing off my work with the UV light. Number 2, brailing an object that does not have a flat surface. Again, I'll clean the surface and manually place dots of Bondic where I want braille to be read. Number 3, reinforcing non-traditional braille media. Here I have a sticker that is brailled with a slate and stylus. However, given that the media is not intended for braille, I use Bondic to reinforce each of the braille dots on the back side of the sticker. Number 4, adding tactile symbols to everyday objects. Here I have a camera remote that I've cleaned and am applying Bondic over the arrows for panning and tilting the camera. Number 5, adding a tactile layer to everyday images. Here I have a picture of the stone of the pregnant woman in Baalbek, Lebanon. There's an average sized person standing in front, giving us a reference of the size of this monolith. With Bondic, I can quickly outline the person and the monolith to create a tactile representation of the image for someone who is blind, low vision. Similarly, I can use Bondic to quickly create a tactile version of the Global Accessibility Awareness Day logo. All in all, UV plastics like Bondic may not be a bad thing to include in your accessibility toolbox should you ever need to braille something or create tactile graphics in a pinch.
Thank you to our supporting partners. Idaho State University Disability Services. www.isu.edu/disability services.
Hello, my name is Donna Patterson, and I am the Instructional Technology Analyst for North Idaho College. Welcome to this short presentation on alt text. Alt text is the text equivalent of an image, and it allows blind and low vision people to know what the image contains by using a screen reader or other assistive technology. By adding alt text images posted online, especially to personal social media sites, you make content available to more users and the practice of doing so more common. I'm going to show how easy it is to add alt text on Facebook and Instagram using screenshots. While preparing this presentation, I looked at a number of different websites and blogs, and much of the advice includes keep it simple. Describe the image as you would to someone over the phone. Don't use the phrase image contains or anything like that. Just describe what's in the image. Limit emojis. Something to keep in mind when using emojis is knowing how they will be interpreted by a screen reader. If you are uncertain about how an emoji will be interpreted, check it out over at emojipedia.org. An emoji is a pictograph. They were first invented in 1999 by Shigetaka Kurita. The smiley face emoticon was first used by Professor Scott Fahlman of Carnegie Mellon University in 1982. Interestingly enough, Microsoft Office applications automatically autocorrect the original smiley face emoticon : right parentheses to a smiley face. But the free NVDA screen reader that I use interprets it as 12 and the sad face as 1. However, the screen reader sees this emoji copied from emojipedia.org as smiling face with smiling eyes. Using the provided emojis on any given platform is fine. I just wanted to point out the difference between a provided emoji and a self-generated emoticon. To add alt text on Instagram, get your post ready. Get your post ready. Then choose Advanced Settings. Then write the alt text. Save it and then post it. To add it on a Facebook post, create the post with the chosen image. Hover over the post. Choose Edit. Choose Alternative Text. Add the alt text. Save it and post it. Other social media sites like Twitter, TikTok, they all have similar procedures for adding alt text, except, of course, Reddit, unless you're using an app. For the desktop version of Reddit, I haven't found a way to add alt text, but I have found something that is encouraging. There is an R Transcribers of Reddit where volunteers pick up transcription requests. Here's an example of their work with a recipe card posted to our old recipes. And then there is the transcription that was done by a volunteer. After spending some time looking into alt text, visiting different websites and blogs, I have to mention Veronica with 4 eyes, veronica.com. Veronica Lewis is, hands down, the best at explaining alt text in all of its varying forms. Her website is packed full of valuable information concerning accessibility, as well as tips for students with low vision. I highly encourage you to check out her website, Twitter, or Pinterest account. Many of you have already been adding alt text for years, but if this is new to you, I encourage you to take a few moments to make your content accessible to a wider group of people. Thanks for watching.
Thank you to our supporting partners. Glimpse. llc.glimpse@gmail.com.
Thanks for joining us today for the presentation on Universal Design and Assistive Technology for the Print Disabled. My name is Jeff Gardner. I'm the team leader here at IRI-AT. IRI-AT is a company that specializes in products and training for low vision and blind people. The products we carry are made to enhance visual clarity as well as provide an alternative for interpreting visual information through touch and audio. The focus of this presentation is on software and devices that provide alternative sensory modalities and begin to bring us to a level of universal design. For example, some products allow inaccessible print documents to be converted into speech and braille.
The norm he knew. I read with interest Greg Ingold's scathing that.
And some products permit images to be embossed as raised line drawings and even raised drawings that can speak and make sounds. As the technology progresses, more opportunities open to blind and visually impaired students, particularly in science, technology, engineering, and math. Today we're going to be looking at some of the innovative new solutions IRI-AT is bringing to the market to balance the playing field for blind students focused on science, math, engineering, and technology. And we're going to look at the advantages these technologies create for blind students, as well as for other students who may or may not have been diagnosed with a print or reading disability. The idea behind the technology we're discussing today is that every product should provide an alternative sensory modality to just sight alone, and alternatively multiple sensory modalities. In our perfect world, every product could be addressed by touch and audio in addition to just sight. A great example is the smartphone that has evolved now to vibrate and talk. The speech features were originally developed for use by blind people, but nowadays we can all agree that the speech technology has improved life and access for everyone in the process. We can even get a tactile message from our phones now with vibrations. Best of all, the technology is widely used and therefore no longer a specialty technology that has to cost a fortune. We'd like to see all technology products developed with this universal design in mind, so the world can be inclusive of people with sensory disabilities and also improve for anyone who may fall in the gaps with an undiagnosed condition. Personally, I'm dyslexic, and I went to school in an age when the condition was barely even recognized. Luckily, my mother was a teacher, and she developed ways to help me adapt to my print disability. She developed learning exercises that helped me learn how to read and eventually read aloud just as well as all of my classmates. I even went on to become a disc jockey and MC, reading announcements live on a microphone. But nowadays, all some parents may need to do is have their children read visually while a computer or tablet speaks along with the text.
Dear David, thank you very much for your help moving the couch into the flat.
By doubling the sensory modalities for reading to include both visual and audible, we're able to increase the reading speed and retain more of what we read. If the native accessibility features on your device are not enough, there's additional software available to further enhance the native accessibility features. There are also special reading devices for people who need more assistance. These devices scan print documents and read back aloud. You can even read along in Braille to add touch to the audio and double the sensory perception, starting with nothing useful to a blind person and ending with two senses acting upon the information, catching the undiagnosed students with print disabilities along the way. Now that's good design. North Idaho College are pioneers in implementing this type of universal design to provide more opportunities for their students. As much as possible, NIC is creating universally accessible materials that can be understood by touch, sight, and sound, so they can not only accommodate diagnosed conditions, but also help students and staff with undiagnosed conditions, knowing that everybody comprehends information more quickly and retains information for a longer duration when multiple senses are used simultaneously. One of the most innovative assistive technologies that combines an audible, tactile, and visual interface is the iVail learning system from ViewPlus Technologies. Let's take a look at the introduction video of the iVail learning system, the latest version, version 3.
Welcome to ViewPlus Technologies' Aveo overview. Aveo is the brand name for our audio tactile learning system. If you have seen it at shows, you have probably seen our water cycle demonstration. Even if you are not a Braille reader, you will still get value from Aveo. It uses a tactile graphic that lays on a touchpad to allow for exploration of the image. A big advantage of audio over Braille is that it is possible to fit a lot more data on a single page. The innovations over the years have led to Aveo Transformer, a tool to simplify the process of converting an image to audio tactile graphic. Let's bring in an image of a Scandinavian peninsula, showing no more than country borders, plus a picture of the Norwegian flag. Transformer guides through steps, like fitting imported image to page layout for later printing. To define the area of annotations, Transformer offers simple tools to select existing shapes in an image, or to draw an outline of an annotation. Information for audio feedback can be entered by typing text, or by selecting a sound file to be played back. In Simplify Image, the image can be edited for embosser output. Braille labels can be added to the tactile print in Next Step. Audio is also produced from this embedded text, so you do not need to read Braille to understand the information. Create a number of views by defining different sections of the image. Each view can be printed separately, scaled to full page layout. In the last step of Aveo Transformer process, you have the option to create hard copy prints, to go play annotations directly in Aveo Player, and to save your work in SVG format. Let's go to Aveo Player and play annotations of this example. On screen, you see a simulation of what the embossed tactile graphic would look like, which would be placed on the Aveo touchpad for exploration with fingertips. Different fill patterns help identify different country regions. As specific points of the image are pressed or tapped with a fingertip, annotation saved to this point is played back via audio output.
Scandinavian Peninsula.
Text of Braille label, title, and description on Norway country region and the sound of the flag.
Norway. Its mainland territory comprises the western and northernmost portion of the Scandinavian Peninsula.
Creating audio tactiles is content independent. It can be created from any image of any subject. Get your own experience by downloading free Aveo software demo and examples from our website at viewplus.com/Aveo-3-hands-on-learning-system.
North Idaho College will soon be implementing the Aveo learning system on their campus. Campus maps will be made universally accessible, and learning materials will be made into multi-sensory experiences that can accommodate people of any print disability. This and the other great strides by North Idaho College cannot be understated. The more this type of universal design can be endorsed, the more it reaches the people who need it, and the more it reaches people who don't even know they need it. And as these universal technologies are adopted on a larger scale, this also increases the accessibility by price. As products become usable by all, they become mainstream, reducing price exponentially, making them accessible to more people, and creating a more inclusive society. Thanks for joining me for this presentation on universal design and assistive technology for the print disabled. Thanks for joining us today at IRA AT, your home for Braille and low vision. If you'd like more information about today's presentation, please reach out to me at jeff.gardner@ireat.com or find us on the web at irie-at.com.
Thank you to our supporting partners. Evol Octopus Tactical. Facebook.com/EVOEL Octopus.
Hi, my name is Craig Lytle, and I'm going to be talking about Walk-in VR. Walk-in VR is an add-on to Steam and has been tested to make VR accessible for people with cerebral palsy, spinal cord injury, traumatic brain injury, muscular dystrophy, spinal muscular atrophies, neuropathy, and orthopedic problems. If the user can hold the controllers but can't click the buttons, another person can assist by using an Xbox controller. If the user cannot hold the controllers, an Xbox One Connect can be used to track hand movements in conjunction with the Xbox controller. So if he were to use his hands he can't click on anything, but he uses his hands to point to continue, and then the assistant can use the button on the Xbox controller to select it. And then he chooses which he wants to do a solo, select it, and then whichever song he wants, and then look over to the right, and I help select play. Now he can use his hands to play the game. Because otherwise, if the person can't hold on to the controllers, they wouldn't be able to play at all. Also, when a person exercises in virtual reality, it's having a real impact on physical training. Additionally, it's a form of rehabilitation. For someone who doesn't have the ability to move their arms but would like to experience VR environments, the Xbox controller can be used by the assistant to navigate the environment. All the information can be found at www.walkindriver.com. That's www.walkindriver.com. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? I'm back talking about Bluetooth audio assistive technology devices that we're using at North Idaho College. Some folks might already be familiar with the first device, the Bose noise canceling headphones, and they go over the ear, produce amazing quality sound for whatever type of entertainment you're listening to. But the hallmark feature of these is the sound canceling technology, which will cancel out about 80 to 90% of the noise in your environment. Simply put, the headphones are listening to the sound in your environment and produce the inverse sound waves, canceling out most of the sound in your environment. Looking at Bose headphones through the lens of accessibility, these might be helpful to someone like me who has a bit of a attention deficit. Back last year in 2020, I was able to engage with others virtually in the CSUN Assistive Technology Applications Certificate Program amidst a distracting household of 6 people. Similarly, a person who is hard of hearing might be able to use these to cancel out competing noises and focus on a specific audio source or someone speaking. My next example is the Aftershokz Trex Airs. These are noticeably smaller and curving around the back of your head, looping over your ears with the speakers placed slightly forward from the opening of the ear. The distinguishing feature of these is that they're bone-conducting headphones, and while you can hear a little bit of sound through the speakers, they effectively target sound to travel through the bones in your inner ears, which play an important role in hearing. Luckily with these, I can actually demonstrate this technology by placing these headphones on a styrofoam ball. So that's how those work. From the perspective of accessibility, some folks who are deaf or hard of hearing may be able to use these to hear or enhance their hearing. I really like the open ear design of the Trex Air when I'm riding my bike to work. I can still hear sounds in my immediate environment, like cars, crosswalk indicators, or on your left as I'm getting passed by a fellow cyclist. Similarly, when I'm working in my office, listening to podcasts or music, I can easily hear someone and understand them without removing or turning off the device if they're talking to me when they enter my office. The next audio AT I have is the Apple AirPods, but working in conjunction with the Live Listen app that's available on the iOS device. So say I was trying to have a conversation with somebody in a busy restaurant with a lot of noise going on around me. I could put in my AirPods and then turn on the Live Listen app on my phone. And I point the microphone at whoever is speaking, and I'll get an enhanced listening experience. One more piece of tech that we have yet to get our hands on is the Sony immersive wearable speaker. In addition to having an audio source that comfortably sits on the back of your neck and your shoulders, this speaker also features haptic feedback, allowing you to feel whatever entertainment you're engaged in. So awesome for gamers. And this is an amazing feature that exemplifies universal design, as it provides an alternative means of experiencing sound for anyone who is deaf or hard of hearing, while elevating the listening experience for other users. Hopefully, this helps provide ideas and solutions to some people in the accessibility field. And I hope that we will be able to showcase these devices and let you touch, feel, and play with them at PWGAAD 2022.
Thank you to our supporting partners: Alpha Jiu-Jitsu and Fitness, www.postfallsmartialartsandfitness.com.
Hey everyone, it's Alex Null from the Ability app. With social distancing in place, many of us are experiencing restrictions on where and when we can go out. Right now, we can't just go out the door and find a place that we can hang out, eat, shop, or work, like we've been able to do in the past. When I think about these new restrictions, it reminds me a lot of what people with disabilities have to deal with all the time. Did you know that the World Health Organization estimates that 15% of the world's population has a disability? That's over 1 billion people. We get emails and letters from people all around the world who are excited about the Ability app as a tool to improve their own or a loved one's ability to go out and experience the world. Erica from the United States writes, "My double amputee daughter will someday benefit from your app. For now, she is 5 and learning how to navigate her walker wherever it fits." Sarah from Australia writes, "As someone who cannot walk up or down any type of step, has problems with slopes, and needs to use lifts or ramps to get around, it's difficult to know where I can go, which can have obvious effects on social exclusion and mental health." Claire from Canada writes, "My father is visually impaired. Over the years, there have been constant struggles due to the lack of technology and the limited awareness of accessibility challenges on the part of businesses in the community." Marcos from Mexico, who is paralyzed from the chest down, writes, "I'm very outgoing, but not knowing the obstacles that I can find stops me from going out on my own. I have to make phone calls or send emails ahead of time. Sometimes they don't even reply." And there are so many stories like these. I'm not sharing this to make anyone feel bad about their responses to social distancing. It's not easy for anyone, especially the amazing medical community, caregivers, grocery workers, delivery people, school lunch providers, and all other essential workers who are keeping our world running right now. My hope, my ask, is that we as a global community take a moment to think about access in a broader context and look for ways to implement improvements in our communities, businesses, and schools for all people. When social distancing is over, let's do our best to make sure access improves for everyone. Thank you, and I hope that you and your family stay well.
Thank you to our supporting partners: the Jessen family,
Hey everybody, my name is Jeremy Setta. I'm the IT Accessibility Coordinator for North Idaho College, and I am here today to talk to you about video accessibility. On my title slide here, there's a background picture of the world's largest monolith called the Stone of the Pregnant Woman, and it's in Baalbek, Lebanon. Various people are standing around and on the monolith that has dimensions of 68 by 17 by 14 feet. And this picture is relevant to my presentation on video accessibility for 2 reasons. One, it represents a metaphorical problem that most institutions are facing with time-based media. Making accessible content is simple, but it doesn't always mean that it's easy, especially with terabytes of new media being created each year. And much like moving a 1,000-ton stone is simple in concept, but it's not always easy in application. And my second reason for this picture is that it allows me to demonstrate audio description right from the start. So why do we need accessible videos? A few good reasons would include it's just the right thing to do. Now, I don't believe that people are creating videos with the intention of excluding other people, but that's often the result. Next, it's the lawful thing to do, and I'll briefly cover that in my next few slides. Third, the groups of impacted people are much greater than we think. For example, captions could help people with an auditory processing disorder, a learning disability, or an attention deficit. It's not just for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. And last on the list, advocating for accessibility will aid the perception that you and your institution are more socially responsible. So video accessibility and this being the lawful thing to do. First off, I want to say that I'm not a lawyer. None of this should count for legal advice. The laws surrounding video accessibility include the Americans with Disabilities Act, Section 504 and 508 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, and the 21st Century Communications and Video Accessibility Act, also known as CVAA. The Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, are more specific than the laws. It's still a bit vague, and I'll point you to some more useful guidelines later on in the presentation. It's also worth mentioning recent litigation around video accessibility, as it gives us a good idea on how the laws are interpreted. Both Harvard and MIT have settled with the National Association of the Deaf through consent decree to caption their public videos by a specified time frame. I believe it's around 2 years. The length of the litigation has been over 4 years long for both of the higher ed institutions. Bottom line with video accessibility is get your videos capped or get clapped. It's pretty simple. So what makes for video accessibility? Typically, we're talking about captions and audio description. Captions refer to any text representation of information that is represented only through the audio, speech, sound effects, and sometimes music. Captions should be displayed at the bottom of the video across 1 to 2 lines with a maximum character width of 32 characters per line, and they should be aligned with the speech and the sound effects that are being captioned. Caption accuracy relies heavily upon audio quality of the speakers, minimal competing noises, and simpler terminology. So closed captions are actually what most of us are probably familiar with. It's the little CC button that toggles the captions on or off. As far as creating captions, there's really kind of 2 main ways to create them. The first is automatic speech recognition, or ASR, which is a software that will yield captions that are 60 to 85% accurate. The second way captions get created is via a human captionist, which can get up to 99% accuracy. And most human-generated captions will actually go through a first round of ASR captioning first. And really, for any videos that require captions, I'd say that you need at least like 97% accuracy or better, which really can only be achieved with a human captionist. I also have a snippet here included on the slide, or a still from the movie Jaws, with the caption included, and in brackets it says, "Terrifying, suspenseful music playing." Underneath that are the words, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." Captions continued here. We also talk about live captions. They're similarly created for streamed videos. The most professional method for creating live captions is actually by a stenographer. Again, it's a human element to the captions. And live captions can also be done with ASR, but with latency on top of reduced accuracy. There's also open captions, and that's referring to captions that are actually encoded onto the video. So they're always on or open. And last, I have an example of why captions are so important. So let me go ahead and advance in the video a bit so we can understand this. So this is a case where people who don't understand sign language are going to need captions to understand what is going on in this video. I unfortunately don't know much ASL at all, and so it's very necessary for me, and I can imagine it's very necessary for most of the folks watching this video. So you guys get the point, okay? Audio description, explaining what you see. Audio description is an audio track typically combined with the video that's describing the information that is only presented visually. I want to give a lot of emphasis on describing because it's easy to fall in this pattern of just explaining facts of the video rather than keeping it more like a narrative. And there are cases where, yes, you do want to explain facts, but also try and keeping this entertaining. And I created a short example video illustrating why audio description is important.
Without seeing the video, can you tell what movie this audio belongs to? Who's this?
Ooh, hello.
Who's he saying hello to? Why is he smelling the other person? Is it a horse or a dog? What's going on now? Let's listen again, but with audio descriptions on the video.
From the creators of Tangled and Wreck-It Ralph, Disney. A carrot-nosed, coal-eyed snowman shuffles up to a purple flower peeping out of deep snow.
Ooh, hello.
He takes a deep sniff. His nose lands on a frozen pond. A reindeer looks up and pants like a dog. Seeing the reindeer slip on the ice, the snowman smiles and moves towards him, though actually he's running on the spot. The reindeer falls on his chin.
Okay, we all get the idea here, but you can see this is very complex to actually describe something like this trailer from Frozen. Of course, anybody that has kids has probably seen the Frozen movie a bazillion times and knew what it was within the first few seconds of the audio description. So I'll say sometimes there's not enough time allotted in a video to insert adequate audio description. And that's where we find ourselves doing what's called an extended audio description, where the video gets paused to allow more time for the audio description. And I'll actually point to the NIC COVID-19 PSA as a good example of extended audio description.
Henley, head volleyball coach, North Idaho College.
This is a time to show our united Cardinal spirit, and we need everyone to help.
Mike Savali, head wrestling coach, North Idaho College.
Together, we can help prevent the spread of the coronavirus.
Corey Simons, head men's basketball coach, North Idaho College.
And protect the most vulnerable members of our community.
So that's a great example of extended audio description. Sometimes it can get a little distracting if there's a lot of information being presented. Maybe there's a chart or a diagram that needs to get explained, or somebody has a lot of PowerPoint slides that need audio description in conjunction with the video. So it can get distracting really fast, and that's where it gets challenging. I would like to say that if there's a lot of planning done in the pre-production, you can eliminate any kind of need for audio description by planning for anything that's visual to be read out loud or somehow represented in the audio. The most helpful and specific guidelines come from Described and Captioned Media Program, or DCMP, and 3Play Media. So DCMP has their caption guidelines posted at dcmp.org/learn/captioning key, and a similar URL for their audio description guidelines at dcmp/learn/description key. And 3Play Media's guidelines for caption and audio description can both be found by going to the URL 3playmedia.com/resources/popular-topics. And I really want to emphasize these because the fact that everybody kind of has a different way of doing captions. And I kind of look to the industry leaders to actually give guidance on how to do this. And both of these are excellent resources for both captions and audio description. So when is video accessibility required? Captions and audio description are going to be required for anything intended for the public, such as a public service announcement. I mean, duh, it's kind of in the name. Or when you publish to a video platform that is open to the public, such as YouTube. Accessible videos also become a requirement if an accommodation request is made to your disability support department. Okay, so outside of those two cases mentioned in the previous slide, you may still find that you want to at least provide auto captions on just about everything else. I call these videos limited use videos, and they include anything like a faculty person that's recording his or her lecture, informative videos, etc. It's not a bad idea to have your videos auto captioned. The only time I find that captions or audio description wouldn't be recommended is when their presence would cause confusion or a bad experience for the majority of users. However, it's highly subjective and difficult to approve. So I can give you one example that we've dealt with here at North Idaho College in dealing with an athletic conference. We had a softball tournament going on, and we had a live stream on the ancillary fields that didn't have an announcer present. So live captioning of random and faint speech going on around the camera would actually create confusion in the videos. So those are cases where, yeah, we didn't want to provide any kind of captioning. So next few slides, I kind of want to get you guys thinking about this and test your knowledge. It's not all video-based kind of questions, but it's definitely related to the topics that we've covered today. So test your knowledge. During the COVID-19 lockdowns, the library wants to provide a book reading stream daily. They have advertised this as a way to do their part in helping keep the public entertained with a healthier option than watching TV. Is the library obligated to provide live captions? I'll give you a moment. Yes, they would be. I would say specifically because they mentioned public in their post. Now, what if they omitted the word public from their advertisement? I'll give you a moment. Yes, again, their intention is still to distribute this to the public. So I would err on the side of saying, yes, they are still obligated to provide captions. Okay, here's another one. During COVID-19 lockdowns, an opera house decides to maintain their spring schedule of 3 plays, but can only seat 1/3 of their patrons due to social distancing. The others can enjoy a live stream via a URL that is form-gated with a password that will be texted, emailed to all the patrons. The opera house is diligent about stating, please contact us if you need an accommodation. Is the opera house obligated to provide live captions and audio description of the performances over the live stream? And I'll give you a moment. So my answer on this would be no, so long as they didn't receive an accommodation request. However, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Okay, so what if we have same situation but change a little bit of the variables here and say we have a blind, low vision patron, was one of the lucky third to get a seat in the opera house and requested audio description of the performance via the existing audio listening system within the opera house. Is the opera house now obligated to provide that accommodation? Yes, they would be. Okay. Now, what if, again, changing the variable slightly, what if the person insisted the audio description was presented over the loudspeakers because he or she doesn't like wearing headphones? Is the opera house obligated to fulfill that request? No, they would not be, because it's not a reasonable accommodation. That change of bringing the audio over the PA system, the audio video system, would actually cause kind of a negative impact on the experience of the vast majority of patrons. All right, last one here. Yeah, there's this re-emerging theme, COVID-19. During COVID-19 lockdowns, a university wants to provide weekly forums via Zoom. Instead of keeping the meeting recording in Zoom, though, the university posts the video on YouTube, but sets the visibility for the video to unlisted instead of public. Is the university still obligated to provide captions and possibly audio description? I'm going to give you a few more moments on this one. This one's a little tougher, but yes, the university would still have to provide captions and possibly audio description for the following reasons. And if the video is intended for students or anyone in the student body has ever requested accommodation for videos, then the university is going to be obligated to provide those same accommodations if their target audience is the students. An unlisted video can still be accessed by anybody who has the link. So the action of moving the meeting recording from a limited use system and onto a public system could also obligate the university to provide captions and audio description. On this slide here, I have just a quick checklist of things that will help determine if your video is accessible or not. Does video still make sense if you were to play it with the monitor off? Similarly, what if you turned your speakers off? Does that video still make sense? I have a really good example to show a video which does well both visually as well with the audio.
Richard McLennan, President, North Idaho College.
It's hard to believe that just a few short weeks ago, North Idaho College faculty and staff shifted nearly all of our programs and services to a virtual environment.
All right, you get the idea. So content is both represented visually as well as in the audio here in what Dr. McLennan is saying, but also the voiceover in cases where there's text on the screen. So does your video have captions, whether it's closed caption or open caption? You check to see if it's ASR captions or auto captions, if they're adequate. And do you need to edit those for better accuracy? And just to remind you, 97% is kind of a good number to aim for, 97% or better. Can all the accessibility features effectively be baked into the video? Or should I provide a second version that I can link to? Okay. Ideally, a lot of the accessibility features, if you creatively think about it in the pre-production process, you can eliminate the need for things like audio description. If you can't essentially bake those pieces into the video, you might just find that it's better to provide a second version of the video and be sure you link to it from first videos or the original video source, as well as any other places that you're posting the video. So who's responsible for video accessibility? And I don't mean to point the finger at anyone creating video-based content, but seriously, it's going to be whoever is a content creator. They should be worried about accessibility and should be going through the process of making their videos captioned or audio described if necessary. In all seriousness, NIC's Director of E-Learning, Thomas Scott, said it best when he said, it's unsustainable for one person or one department to handle all that needs to be done with making electronic resources accessible. So before I bring everything to a close, I wanted to urge everyone to do something meaningful to celebrate Global Accessibility Awareness Day. You can go to globalaccessibilityawarenessday.org for ideas or to participate in a virtual event. And I've actually been very fortunate to befriend both of the GAAD co-founders, Jennison Assumption and Joe Devon. And they're both fine examples of what it means to be an accessibility professional. They help everyone around them get better with accessibility. And on this last slide, I have a picture of me standing on the steps of the Temple of Bacchus in the Heliopolis in Baalbek, Lebanon. You see what I did there? So in case you don't have it, my contact information is jeremy.c SEDA, that's SEDA, at nic.edu. I can also be reached on the phone at 208-929-4030. I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/SEOA11Y. So thank you very much, and I hope everybody has a great Global Accessibility Awareness Day.
Audio descriptions done right. Black Panther opening scene.
Baba,
Yes, my son.
tell me a story.
Which one?
The story of home.
Millions of years ago, a meteorite made of vibranium, the strongest substance in the universe, struck the continent of Africa, affecting the plant life around it. And when the time of men came, 5 tribes settled on it and called it Wakanda. The tribes lived in constant war with each other until a warrior shaman received a vision from the panther goddess bust, who led him to the heart-shaped herb, a plant that granted him superhuman strength, speed, and instincts. The warrior became king and the first Black Panther, the protector of Wakanda. 4 tribes agreed to live under the king's rule, but the Jabari tribe isolated themselves in the mountains. The Wakandans used vibranium to develop technology more advanced than any other nation. But as Wakanda thrived, the world around it descended further into chaos. To keep vibranium safe, the Wakandans vowed to hide in plain sight, keeping the truth of their power from the outside world.
And we still hide, Baba?
Yes.
Why?
In a kitchen, we move to an open bedroom door. In the bedroom, Sadie Paulson is reflected in a mirror. A caregiver brushes her hair, then helps her into a blouse.
People think that having a disability is a barrier.
Sadie sits at a desk working with an iMac. She moves her head to operate switches on her headrest.
But that's not the way I see it.
Now, a young man uses sign language on a FaceTime call.
You can catch up with friends.
A young woman signs back. Now a family picnic.
Ready? You can capture a moment with your family.
One face. Small face. Focus lock.
A blind man takes a photo with an iPhone.
And you can start the day bright and early.
A woman lies in bed using an iPhone app to open motorized curtains and turn on her lights. She lowers herself into a wheelchair.
You can take a trip to somewhere new.
A man hikes with friends. Now a close-up of his hearing aid. He stops to select the outdoor setting on his iPhone.
3 miles to the summit.
A boy reads a book on an iPad in class.
You can concentrate on every word of a story.
A bird began to sing. Jack opened his eyes.
An athlete selects outdoor wheelchair workout on her Apple Watch.
You can take the long way home.
A beach at sunset. The athlete pushes her wheelchair aggressively down a paved path, quickly gaining speed. Then the footage rewinds, revealing that it's being edited in Final Cut Pro.
Or edit a film like this one.
We zoom out to reveal Sadie editing the film. She uses her head to use switch control, navigating an on-screen keyboard.
When technology is designed for everyone,
she drags a clip and plays the film.
It lets anyone do what they love, including me.
Sadie laughs. Then a gray Apple logo appears on a white background. The logo disappears.
Sound shirt, cute circuit. When a conductor throws his arms in the air, an orchestra begins to play. Imagine a world without music. For deaf people, this is reality. My name is Cassandra. A signing woman sits in the front row. I can't hear music because I'm deaf. Young Symphoniker Hamburg presents Lights Flash on a Long-Sleeved Shirt.
Music should be for everyone. Introducing this Sound Shirt, a wearable device that enables the deaf to experience a concert through touch sensations. After 6 months of development, we put it to the test.
Cassandra wears the blue-on-black Sound Shirt. When the conductor raises his baton, lights pulse up and down the garment. Other patrons test it too. Cassandra flinches and beams. A nodding man turns to his partner and says, "Good." Cassandra holds a hand to her chest, and a woman closes her eyes in bliss.
This is how it works. Microphones all over the stage cover the different types of instruments. A software converts the sound into data and sends it to the shirt, where 16 vibration motors pulsate with the intensity of the music. For example, the bass on the stomach and the violins along the arms.
Cassandra chuckles.
Several deaf people tested the shirt, and their reactions speak for themselves.
The man's eyes widen, and the woman tells her companion, "What you can hear, I can feel. I can feel the violins so delicately," the man tells his partner. "I could feel the music all over my body," Cassandra reports. "Let's try AC/DC," she says with a
The
laugh.
Sound Shirt, now available at every concert of the Young Symphonic Orchestra of Hamburg.
Cassandra joins a standing ovation, waving her hands in the air.
Thank you to our supporting partners. North Idaho Jiu-Jitsu. www.northidahojujitsu.com. Orcam, my eye pro.
Orcam Pro is a powerful, compact device that magnetically mounts to a pair of eyeglasses. It does not enhance the vision of the user. Orcam Pro can quickly and audibly read text that is brought before it by either tapping on the side of the device,
FCC compliance notice,
or by pointing a finger at the text the user wants the device to read to them.
welcome to the story of the Magic Cup.
It also recognizes faces, which can be very helpful if a person has trouble distinguishing between the faces of friends and family.
Mary.
It also reads paper currency.
$5.
Product barcodes, and much more. Orcam Pro comes equipped with Bluetooth and can be paired to a user's Bluetooth-enabled hearing aids or wireless earbuds to keep things private. It has helped bring back a level of independence, not only for people living with low vision, but those who are totally blind. A product with this much capability is best delivered with thorough training, which we provide with the purchase of a device from Vision Matters. Give us a call, and we will be happy to show you how much Orcam Pro can impact your life.
Vision Matters logo appears. Call us at 425-892-0601.
Hello, my name is Ryan Scott, and I am the Assistive Technology Specialist at North Idaho College. I work with all types of disabilities. However, I specialize in working with students who are blind, visually impaired, and students diagnosed with learning disabilities. As an individual who was fortunate enough to attend a junior and senior high school that specialized in learning disabilities, we weren't blessed with all the current technology that assists students with reading, writing, and study skills techniques. With that said, my presentation today is to provide an overview on the basics of Read and Write Gold within the college setting. Read and Write Gold is a one-stop shop for students who have barriers in reading, writing, and study skills. The program was implemented at North Idaho College 7 years ago, and we had tremendous student outcome success. One of the main reasons why students enjoy the program is because as long as they are enrolled at North Idaho College, they are able to have Read and Write Gold downloaded onto their personal devices. This allows students to access their course materials at home, work, and yes, even on vacation. I've compiled a few professionally made videos from Read and Write Gold. They are reading, help with studying, and writing revisions, and screen masking. Screen masking is one of our most popular features on Read and Write Gold. Not only does it help students with learning disabilities, but students who have traumatic brain injuries or seizure disorders, tinting the screen really helps them access online course material as well. So, I hope you enjoy the overview of Read and Write Gold within the college setting. and thank you.
Welcome to this Use at University video series. Let me explain what this series is all about. The jump from school to university can be a difficult one, as the level of study can be much higher and the pace can be much faster. We're all individuals with our own strengths and personal challenges. Read and Write helps address a wide range of issues related to reading, writing, or studying. Even if you don't have a specific difficulty in any of these areas, you may well find that using Read and Write can help boost your work. For example, it's got some brilliant tools that are really useful for revision. Read and Write is this extra toolbar docked to the top of the screen. Having access to this toolbar, however, is just the start. Working out how to use it to help write an assignment or report, prepare for a tutorial, research for a project or dissertation, and revise for those all-important exams can make a big difference to your progress. These Use at University videos will help you work out how Read and Write can aid you during your course. Look out for special tips indicated by one of our own little text helpers. In addition, you will find instructional videos for each feature within the software here. These explain how to use the feature and how to adapt it to suit your individual needs. We highly recommend that you take a look at these when you get time. Thanks for watching this first video in the Use at University series. Be sure to check out the other videos in the series. For more information on how Read and Write works, visit our website or visit our training portal. Use at University, Part 2, Help with Reading. You'll spend a lot of your time at university reading. Lecture notes, textbooks, books in the library, journals, web pages, study guides, assignment briefs, research papers. The list can seem endless. If you have any difficulty with reading, then keeping on top of it all can be a big challenge. Read and Write has lots of tools to help with reading. Let's look at some of these. The Play will be one of the most important tools you will use. With it, any text can be read aloud to you. All you need to do is sit back and listen.
Chronic bronchitis and emphysema are two disorders which frequently exist.
For this to work, you will need to have the text on your computer. This is easy if the text is in a Microsoft Word document, a web page, or a PDF document. But what do you do if it is on physical paper, such as a handout from a lecturer, one of your textbooks, or a book in the library? Before doing anything, check with your lecturer or library to see if you can obtain an electronic copy of the text. If you can't get access, don't worry. Read and Write will still be able to help, as it has scanning included. I'll explain in a little while how to use it. If your lecture notes or handouts are provided in Microsoft Word, just click in the document. Then click Play.
The circulatory system, also called the cardiovascular system or the vascular system.
See the way it highlights as it reads? Having the text read for you means you can spend more time concentrating on what is being said. This means that it should be easier to understand what is being described. Click Stop when you want it to stop reading. So now you can have any Word document read aloud for you, no matter what the subject. You will definitely have to do a lot of reading on the internet. Just select the text, then click Play.
Scientists have discovered a new species of human ancestor deep in a South African cave.
Just think how much easier reading web pages is going to be. Sometimes you might come across text that can't be read by using the Play. It might be in a picture, some formatted PDFs, or some text found on web pages. This type of text is called inaccessible, but you don't need to worry about that. The screenshot reader will be able to read it for you anyway. Just click it and then draw a box around the text you want. After a moment, it will be read to you.
Air may gain access to thoracic interstitial tissues.
One of the settings for this is to put the text into Microsoft Word. You can then edit it, save it, and use it as needed. What about reading your emails? Just select the text and click Play.
Hi Grace, I understand that you are having difficulty getting lab time due to...
It will be much simpler and faster to have your emails read for you. Maybe it will be a journal or a report in a PDF document. Click here, then open the PDF. You just need to click where you want it to start reading.
Government figures show that judicial review proceedings have increased.
So now all those reports and journals will be easier to understand. If you can't get access to an electronic copy, then all you have to do is use the scanning. Maybe it's a textbook, a magazine, or journal. Just put it in your scanner. Click Scan. Give the scan a name and click Save. The scan will be put into a PDF document, but you can choose Microsoft Word instead if you want. You can even use a camera on a smartphone with the scanning if you find this easier. A great tip is to create a folder for each of your subjects and save the scanned document into its relevant folder. This will make it easier to find. Once it's finished, you can use all the tools of Read and Write.
Gladiator fights were first introduced in 264 BC at the funeral of a nobleman, Julius.
This is a fast and easy way of getting any paper document read for you. Do you sometimes come across a new word or one that you just can't remember what it means? Rather than pull out a dictionary, just select the word and click here. What makes it even better is that you can have the definition read for you. And if you are a visual learner, you will find the pictures here helps too. Having the dictionary so close to hand allows you to read without disruption. This makes it easier to concentrate and enables more effective reading. Even with the support of the speech tool, you might still find that you don't have time to do all your reading. One of the most popular tools in Read and Write is the Audio Maker. It simply creates an audio file of any text you want. Select the text, click on the Audio Maker, and in seconds, you will have created your own audiobook. Here it is. As an MP3, you can now put it on whichever device you would normally listen to music on, such as a smartphone or iPod. You can then listen whenever and wherever you want to. Thanks for watching this second video in the Use at University series. For more information on how speech works, visit our website or visit our training portal. As part of your studies, you will often need to research a subject more thoroughly, particularly if you need to write an essay or report. Read and Write has lots of tools to help with this. Let's look at some of these. One of the main places to look for information is the internet. However, keeping the information so that you can review and use it can cause problems. Remember, you can have any of this read for you by highlighting and clicking play.
As you drive,
how often have you used a color highlighter to highlight the key points when you are reading? With the highlighters in Read and Write, you can do the same thing. There is a choice of 4 different colors to choose from. You may wish to highlight the key points using different colors in order to show the different aspects, such as arguments for and against, qualitative and quantitative information, primary and secondary causes, etc. It will be helpful if you first make a note of what the different colors are going to be used to highlight. With this button, you can then collect the key points you have highlighted. And if you decide to use some of these in your essay or report, you will find the bibliography at the bottom. Another way you can use the highlighters is with the vocabulary list. When you start a new subject, you will probably find there are lots of new words that you haven't come across before. Just highlight them with any color. When you click on the vocabulary list, it will make a table with the word, meaning, image, and a place for your own notes. You can create a vocabulary list of new words anytime you start a new topic and keep them to help with revision later. Print the vocabulary list and pin it on the wall. Each time you pass it, try to memorize one of the words. Review the list for a few minutes each week. Thanks for watching this 3rd video in the Use at University series. For more information on how all the study support tools work, visit our website or visit our training portal. At stages in your course, you will be expected to write an essay, report, or assignment, and you might have a dissertation at the end. This can seem quite daunting, as you will need to gather and organize a lot of information from lots of sources. Let's make it easier and break it down to manageable chunks. First, you need to understand what you are being asked to do. So when you get your essay or assignment, you can use the tools in Read and Write to help. Use the speech to have the question read to you.
Mr. Wright is a 73-year-old man with COPD admitted after experiencing acute breathlessness.
Use the dictionary to look up any words you don't understand. Use the highlighters to highlight what you see are the key aspects. If you haven't enough information to answer the question, remember to use the highlighters to help you find more. No matter how much you want to put it off, at some stage you will need to sit down to write. Read and Write has tools to help with this too, so don't procrastinate. Draft a plan of what is going to go into your essay or report. Use saved highlights to help you make a rough draft of your essay. You can use prediction to help you create sentences. This can save so much time, particularly if you are a slow or struggling typist. It's also a great help if you have problems remembering words. Once you have your rough draft, then it's time to proof it. Check It can be used to check for spelling mistakes, homophones, and grammar errors. What makes this one different from Microsoft's? It will solve even complex mistakes and read out any suggested corrections.
Bronchitis.
To make proofing even easier, you can use the Check It window. To help you choose the right correction, any suggestion can be read out, including its definition.
1. An abnormal condition of the lungs marked by decreased respiratory function associated with smoking or chronic bronchitis or old age. Synonyms: emphysema, pulmonary emphysema.
Simply work your way through your document, correcting where needed. Last, but certainly not least, have your draft read out to you. This will help you make sure that it is saying what you want it to say.
Chronic bronchitis and emphysema are two disorders which frequently exist together.
Thanks for watching this fourth video in the Use at University series. For information on how support for writing works, visit our website or visit our training portal. Use at University, Part 5, Help with Revision. Your stress levels at exam time will be at their highest, especially if you leave revision to the last minute. You will find it much easier if you have used Read and Write's tools as you have gone through your course. Many of the tools create materials that you can use as revision aids. Create a vocabulary list of the most important words at the end of each topic. In the Notes section, add your own memory aid. Remember to print out the list and pin it on the wall. Test yourself every time you pass the list to see how many you can remember. Use the highlighters to highlight the most important ideas from all the provided texts and collect into one document. Save each created document and use to help you make your own revision notes. Using the SpeechMaker, convert any of your revision notes into an audio file and put it into your iPod or phone or other audio device. Listen to this anytime you are walking or traveling to class. You can even listen to it as you go to sleep at night. Thanks for watching this Use at University series. Be sure to check out the other videos in the series. For more information on how the revision tools work, visit our website or visit our training portal. Screen masking. Screen masking makes reading on a computer easier. It can reduce glare to help prevent tired eyes, mask distracting areas so it is easier to concentrate, and change the color of the screen to one that suits you better. Let's take a look. To start the screen masking, click on this icon. As you can see, the color of the screen has changed. To turn screen masking off, you can either click on the icon again or click here. Changing the screen masking settings. Everyone has their own individual preferences, so there are some settings for this feature that you might want to change. When screen masking is on, you can do this by simply clicking here. There are different masking types. Just click on the one you want. If you want to change the color used for the masking, you can either select one from the color palette, or if you know the exact color that you need, click on Advanced. You can then either drag the sliders or enter the RGB number. Just click anywhere away from the palette to close it. With this option, you can adjust how opaque the color is by moving the slider. If you use the Tint Whole Screen option, you can use this reading light. See the way a clear area has appeared across the screen, which follows where the mouse goes? This is the reading light. You can use this to help you concentrate on a particular area. By default, the reading light is clear, but again, you can set a color for it if you need to. And you can choose how opaque the reading light is. The height of the reading light can be changed so it can be exactly the height that you need. If you have picked either of the underline options, not only can you change the color, and opacity, but you can also alter the thickness of the underline.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to the overview of Read, Write, Gold. There are a lot more other applications to Read, Write, Gold than I could put into a 20-minute short video. On a personal note, I wish I would have had this program when I was in undergrad and graduate school. It would have saved me a lot of heartache. So please, if you have the chance and the ability to have this program on your own personal device or at a school, please do so, because I truly do think this works. Thank you, and have a great day.